All right, let's talk about the ego, but maybe not in the way you're used to. We're going to dive deep into this idea that the ego isn't just a part of you, it could actually be a kind of prison, one that's shaping your entire reality without you even knowing it.
Just think about that for a second. The life you feel like you've carved out for yourself, your unique journey, what if it's all happening inside an invisible maze? That's the powerful kind of provocative idea we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this maze, we've got to start with its architect, the ego. But again, this might be a totally new way of looking at it for you.
The source material we're pulling from calls the ego a worn-out circuit. I love that description. It's not some spark of creative genius. It's more like a machine just running the same loops, over and over again. It gives us this illusion that we're being super individual, but what it's really doing is locking us into this collective, predictable way of thinking.
And this, right here, just shows you the gap between the story and the reality. See, our ego tells us we're spontaneous, we're adventurous, that we are the masters of our own destiny. But when you pull back the curtain, the reality is often just predictable patterns, it's submitting to norms. The source uses this incredible metaphor. We're like a rat in a maze, totally convinced we chose the path, but the walls were there the entire time.
So, okay, if we're in a maze, it kind of begs the question, right? Who designed it? And this is where the whole concept goes to another level.
It's such a critical question. If our ego is just running on a program, a set of old thoughts and behaviors, you have to ask, where did that program come from? Did we write it all ourselves, or is there something else going on here?
The theory we're exploring today suggests the programmer isn't just, our upbringing or society. It proposes there's this vast external influence that actually fuses with our mind. And the source gives this force a name, the archon.
So this is the absolute key point. The theory suggests the ego isn't just you, it's a fusion, it's a blend of our own mind with this huge external influence. You can almost think of it like a background radio signal that our mind is tuned into, a broadcast that's constantly whispering these stories of limitation, of separation, and of control.
So let's break down what this fusion actually does. It creates an ego that will fight tooth and nail to convince you of its independence, while behind the scenes, it's enforcing conformity. But maybe most importantly, it acts like a compressor, squashing down our wild, boundless, unconscious self, the part that holds all our real potential, and it just keeps it buried.
No, I know, we've laid out the prison, we've talked about the architects, and it sounds pretty dark. But here's the turn. The source material is very clear that there is a way out, and it's a path called inner alchemy.
And this is such an important difference to understand. A lot of spiritual paths talk about ego death, right? This idea that you have to completely destroy the ego. But inner alchemy suggests something totally different. Ego mastery. The goal isn't to get rid of the conscious self. It's to transform it, to transcend it, to weave it into something so much bigger.
I mean, this quote just nails it, because it's all about taking back control. It's about shifting from being a passenger in a car that's just on autopilot, running the same old program, to actually grabbing the steering wheel. You're not getting rid of the car, you're just finally deciding where it's going to go. You become the conscious director.
So that sounds great, but how do you actually do it? How do you become that director? Well, the source material gives us a clear, practical roadmap. There are 6 steps to this freedom. Let's walk through this. Step 1 is all about awareness. You just have to see the cage. Notice your own repetitive, predictable patterns. Step 2, you identify where that control is coming from. You start to recognize that fusion with those outside influences. Step 3 is a conscious choice. It's you saying, nope, I refuse to be a rat in a maze anymore. That decision leads you to step 4, where you actually take the wheel and become that conscious director. Step 5 is the really deep work. This is where you integrate your ego with all that boundless, unconscious potential you have. And finally, step 6 is what it all leads to. You start to live as an outlier, and you achieve this incredible, profound freedom.
So what does that even look like? What does life feel like when you become that outlier? What actually happens when you step outside the walls of that maze?
This really captures the transformation. I mean, it's night and day. Life inside the maze is just this tiny sliver of what's possible. It's all about conformity, predictability, just a mechanical existence. But outside, that's what the source calls the overworld. And that's a realm of almost limitless possibilities, where what matters is authentic difference and true liberation.
This is the identity you step into. The outlier isn't just a rebel for the sake of it.
Their rebellion is the simple, powerful act of being genuinely, authentically themselves, totally separate from the hive mind and the ego's old mechanical patterns.
So, at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from all of this is that the map the ego gives you, well, it's not the whole territory. Real freedom isn't about finding a new path inside the maze. It's about realizing you can live off the map completely.
And really, that's the question we want to leave you with. We've just shown you the map of the maze, the forces that shape it. The only question left is, now that you've seen the map, do you have the courage to live off of it?